perfectly dreary day to finish the Equinox video on, and I'm so thrilled that this project is done because it took a lot of time between cure times and taping and paint and hydrographics and 2K clear and waiting for other parts, etc., and so forth. Like, this was a lot of work from a lot of different very talented people and companies. So, let's talk about it from front to back, I guess. This is a worker flash hider. It's one of the nice ones that comes right on and off and fits over the worker transparent orange barrel. That stuff just looks really good to me. I really like that it's clearly definitively toy, but also has those fun ripples in it. It makes it look very professional. Then we have the obvious worker vector kit. These have become very, very popular, possibly because the worker itself is such an innovative firearm. The worker kit has taken to strife modding like wildfire. People really like this kit, and frankly, I can see why. While it does add a amount of unnecessary bulk, it gives you plenty of Picatinny rail to do all sorts of fun stuff, and it looks really cool. The covering of the magwell is subtle, and I like it a lot. Then we'll move on to this. So, speaking of Picatinny, my good friend EOC, or Pat, printed off this. I wish it was in black, but it's in gray, which doesn't dismiss too much from the overall aesthetic. And this is holding a Through Night i3 miniature tactical light. Now, the i3 is really great because it's tiny but produces a lot of light. I'll show you that in the dark in a second, but this is a very nice flashlight mounted via a 3D printed bracket, and that just screws onto the Picatinny there and then locks the flashlight in right there. So that's a very nice like HVZ feature, and it's on the outside so that since I'm right-handed, this can still sit on a bandolier down like that, since it does not have a stock attachment point. Then you've got the full Picatinny top rail, which would allow for any kind of optics if you wanted to put them on. I didn't think Equinox needed any, especially since I had just put some on Apis. Then we can talk about the hydrographics. So the hydrographics are, of course, that weird hexagon film that I've fallen in love with, and it's really subtle. It's so subtle, in fact, that you're going to have to wait until some of the photos at the end of this video to properly see the hydrographics film, but it's beautifully subtle, and it really fits in with that Equinox theme, I think. And then, of course, we have the vinyl logos. So not only have we quietly replaced Nerf with Drac down here on both sides, but we have the Equinox logo itself, which is something that my good friend Avery over at Custom 3D Nerf designed up and printed off in a variety of colors to match the places that it would go. So we have a lot of white and black contrast on this blaster, which is intentional because that's kind of the definition of Equinox. It's somewhere between light and dark. And then following through that theme, we actually painted the grip tape for the worker kit. So the grip tape is now white to mirror the black, and then everywhere we could get contrast, we tried to find contrast. The only exception is that the Latin here is subtly recessed on this battery door. It roughly translates to, "I was born to rule the dark." How edgy is that? But if you plug that into Google Translate, you're not going to get anything close because Google Translate is terrible for Latin. Irrelevant though, inside here is the beating heart of a 2S LiPo. It's a Graphene 950, which has enough burst discharge to handle the Aussie spec motors that are in here, making this guy really hum. And then to make sure that that's all in order, I did my usual voltmeter integration into the back here, and that is of course an always on switch that turns off when there is a magazine in. I find that that's the most efficient way to do it without adding an additional switch, and when you want to check your voltage anyway, that's frequently when you're coming in to reload. So I like that feature a lot. The voltmeter is green because the inspiration for the Equinox is actually a real steel firearm that Sig Sauer makes, and they have a green, I think it's tritium sight in it, and or it's yeah, I think that that's correct. Anyway, then we did our full handle scale removal. Not a lot of people do it quite this way, and that makes it a very special technique to me. This side had some minor errors in the film, so I put the Equinox logo over to distract, and then this side turned out flawless. So you get that same scale hexagon pattern on the white to contrast the smooth black, and I think that that looks really good. Also, it does something that a lot of strife mods don't do, which is breaks up the blaster in the handle portion. Normally the handle is just like solid gray or solid black, and adding these scales not only gives you a more comfortable grip pattern without that InStrike logo in there, but also looks really special. And I figured since we were adding more black to the tail end here and would not be able to see the white top rail here or here, that that would be a very nice touch. Wow, It's got a worker extended mag release. I don't actually like these, but it came with the kit, and it was injection molded, and it looked nice with the kit, and it seems like it's designed to flow with the overall aesthetic of the kit. But that is a ton of talking about the Equinox. Let's go ahead and fire it. Poor Teddy is deflating up here. He's been waiting so long. Love that noise. I need to start using newer darts. Or we could just make up for our lack of accuracy and ammo with additional stuff. This looks insane, by the way, with a 22 worker mag in it. It's pretty ridiculous how much that extends out. I think that it's designed really to look flawless with the 12 round Nerf mags, or it also looks pretty good with the 15 round P mags I've found. But this is just how it is currently, and this was the highest capacity mag that would fit in the blaster for this demo. Weird. Back in. That does point out that the one thing I dislike about the worker kit is this top Picatinny rail, which you could opt not to include, but would look very silly with the front attachment as well. Prevents you from hitting up that jam door if you need it. So it's not all rainbows and sunshine. It's not perfectly functional, but it is functional. So that I think that it's a very fun kit. It looks cool and it hits hard, even if we can't seem to hit Teddy at 20 feet. Whatever. But I love the Equinox. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really enjoy making these like top tier Strife builds slowly over time. They are very satisfying and a lot of fun, and always a pleasure to loan out to squad mates because they know that they're getting something really, really special that performs really, really well. Plus, it was a great excuse to like flex the worker kit onto something and make my first vector. I have another vector kit that I could make something else with, but I need a new theme. This one was, of course, inspired by the SIG Equinox, and I'm waiting for that inspiration to strike again before I do something else with that worker kit. But if you have any ideas to help me along there, let me know in the comments section below. And if you have any questions about any of the materials or techniques used in this build, I have a hydrographics tutorial, I have a Strife building tutorial, I have all of the materials listed in the description box below, and purchasing any of those materials through those links helps the channel and helps me make more stuff like this. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. We will take a quick look at the flashlight inside because I do want to show you how bright and shiny it is. So light never shows up really well on camera, but from the front you can see that even though it's only powered by one AAA battery, the TI3 by ThruNite is like a really good HVZ flashlight or torch because it provides plenty of light to like see people and pop them as they come out of bushes, but not so much so that you'd be blinding them or doing anything against the rules for most local HVZ clubs. So I like it a lot because it does both of those things, and it's so small that it's very tight to the blaster. So it's a low profile flashlight that not only mounts well on the side, but could also be integrated into the front of the vector kit. I thought about doing that as well, but opted for using the Picatinny instead as it was already built on. Are you guys still there? Awesome, because I realized watching over the footage that I didn't actually talk too much about the battery door and what makes it special and who made it. I talked about the 3D printed mount for the flashlight being made from my friend EOC, but this was made by Coat Duck, and she is a Canadian nerfer, relatively new, and she put this together for me and designed it actually from scratch. There's that graphene that I was talking about earlier. An excellent battery, and it will be linked in the description box as well. But I'll link her channel in the description box because it's actually the only way to get something like this. A, it's super duper custom because it has the text recessed into it, and B, it has some of the most subtle bezeling to give you that extra space inside without being like blocky. It almost looks like an original Strife door when it's set on because the bezeling is so gradual. This is a Containment Crew like light battery upgrade, and you can see that the print quality is nowhere near the same. Now that said, nothing against Containment Crew. I think they're the #1 like supplier of aftermarket parts and such in the United States right now, and they do some really great work. It's just this is designed to be simple and easy, and if you want it to be special, you can modify it yourself, whereas this was 100% custom, made for me with bezeling and space requirements that I asked for, and turned out very nice with the custom text. She also did all of the finishing herself with, I think, primer, filler, and then of course paint. The piece was originally white, as you can see there, but she does a phenomenal 3D print, not only work but design, and she's the person who's working on the Ghost project right now, which I haven't spoken about because we haven't made a ton of progress in like actual 3D printed crossbow final. It's mostly a lot of little pieces so far. So if you want to get one of these, the only way that I know of to do that is to harass her through YouTube. So you're welcome to do that. It will be in the materials section down below. Thanks for watching, guys. Much love. Nerf on. Drac out.